Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the last of four resolution work group pre-conference meetings. And if you have been present for the previous three and are still here, uh, amen for you. You get a gold star. If we had gold stars to give out, we would give them to you. If you have been here for any of the previous three, you know the drill. But still, just in case there are any folk who are joining us for the first time here at 1 o'clock, I'm still gonna do my little introductory spiel, just so that we all know what it is we are doing and why it is we're doing it. If you've heard this spiel before, you can, um, and I'm wearing my headset today because my boys are having a play date downstairs. Hopefully, you are not getting that through because sometimes they're very loud. Um, but you can just take a break for the next 8 minutes or so. If you've heard my introductory spiel before. Um, but again, my name is John Lucy. I am the pastor of the Charlton City United Methodist Church in the Commonwealth West District. And I am the agenda chair for our sessions, our session this year. I don't plan on the agenda chair having much of a role, especially for these moving forward. But since this whole resolution work group thing is new for us, I figured that it would be good to get a little bit of introduction to make sure that we know what's happening. So first of all, the purpose of these resolution work group pre-conference meeting is varied. It's to make sure that every voting member of annual conference has an opportunity to participate in and learn more about each resolution that comes before annual conference because the normal pre-conference briefings that we have, the next and second and last one is Thursday, the 28th at 6:30. Those help us orient ourselves to to the annual conference as a whole. But these resolution work group pre-conference meetings allow us to go more in depth on each of the resolutions so that we know what they mean, what consequences they have, and we can perhaps speed up the process when we get to annual conference itself. Second, this is an opportunity for every voting member to have their voice heard if they would like. Because at annual conference, we will be splitting into the four resolution work groups on Thursday night. And you cannot split yourself into four, but you can attend all of these pre-conference meetings. And just by looking at the attendees list, I do know many of you have attended all four. And again, amen for you. And the last thing is these pre-conference meetings give us a chance to practice as we broaden and expand the leadership a little bit in our annual conference. And I'm going to hand over at some point when I'm done talking and sucking up all the oxygen. I'll hand you over to Izzy Phoenix, who is the presider of this work group. But all of this is new for us, and we could use some practice. You all could use some practice as well, getting used to what all of this means. And we do hope that these resolution work groups in general can broaden the voices that are heard as well as broaden and expanding leadership opportunities. If you are hearing me talk about resolution work groups and you've never heard that before and you don't know what that means, so I'll give you a quick reminder, piece of information, but please do check out the pre-conference briefing for more information. At annual conference, as I said, we are going to be breaking into each one of the four resolution work groups at annual conference on Thursday night. At those, we will receive each report and we will work on hoping to perfect each resolution. And the resolution work groups will then vote on the perfected version of each resolution. If it receives 90% or more of the vote, whatever the action is, it will go on to a consent calendar. And I know many people are concerned, perhaps because they can only go to one resolution work group, that they might lose voice. Please do not worry about that because, first of all, you've had the opportunity to attend each one of these pre-conference meetings, and also because there is still an opportunity to remove items from the consent calendar and to have them talked about at plenary. And I want to take a quick second to remind you that when you register yourself and check in essentially at annual conference at the registrar's table, you should and can register yourself for your preferred resolution work group as well. Before I hand the reins over to Izzy, I want to be clear for us what we can and cannot do today. We can share some of our thoughts, but we cannot make amendments. That happens at annual conference itself. So you can perhaps say in a comment that you would prefer if the resolution were amended to something, and that's great. But what we don't want to have happen is that other people then saying, "Yeah, I also think that should happen, and we should definitely do that amendment," because then we're getting close to trying to make an amendment, and we can't do that. So really, what we're doing today is trying to give some initial feedback with some comments to the resolution submitters and everyone, but also mainly getting clarity on the purpose, the meaning, and the consequences of in the background of the resolutions. Please use the Q&A function to ask your questions. Uh, and you might not be able to see it right away, but we are working on answering those, or we'll just come back to them and answer them live. But use the Q&A function to ask your questions. You can also use the chat function to make comments. If you would really like to verbalize your question or comment, or if we see that you are here and we call upon you to add some information to anything, you can click on raise hand, and then we will give you permission to speak. That's Zoom language. I don't like saying, "Hey, we'll give you permission." We'll allow you to talk. Um, for our presenters, and only see one at the moment. And hopefully Laverne or Lonnie are here with us, or someone else from CFA. I don't want to have to be the one talking for CFA today as well. I'm talking enough. But for our presenters, again, the goal is 3 minutes to speak when it's time for you to introduce your legislation, however you would like we would do at annual conference. I'll just say, because this came up earlier, we don't have any rules for the length of the speech at these pre-conference meetings because we're really just trying to hold a conference. But the goal is 3 minutes if we can go for that. And again, this is a new process for you, for all of us. So please be patient with us. The Spirit's going to work how the Spirit works. Hopefully, it's through this process. But if it's through improving the process, then please, we would be happy to receive any feedback that you might offer, especially if you offer it gracefully. This is the last of our 4 resolution work groups, so we're not under any time crunch. But if we are going long and you say, "Hey, look, I only scheduled this for an hour and I want to get to other things," you can let us know and we'll try to speed things along for you. With that, I will hand things over to Izzy, our presider, to lead us.
Thank you, John. Um, Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Izzy Phoenix. I am a lay member of Union Combined Parish in Boston, and I will be the presider of this session. We also have um, alternates who are available as needed. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to throw the link in the chat for the pre-conference materials book if you have not seen it already. We'll reference those pages as we go. I believe John is also posting them on the screen as we go. So if you want to follow along, you can go to the conference website and read out of the pre-conference materials. I will go in. So we're going to begin with resolution RS 107, which you can find on, I believe it's page 55 in your pre-conference materials. And I will invite, I believe, Stephen to speak to that.
Yeah. What was the title of the RS 107? I'm sorry.
That is retirement billing rate calculation.
Okay, so that has not changed from last year. Charging churches 11% for total plan compensation for those that qualify for Compass.
Okay. Is there discussion from the floor, and how we can do that in a couple different ways? You can raise your hand or throw something into Q&A function as well. Looks like we're ready to move on. We'll give a few more seconds. Okay. The next item on our agenda is RS 105, which is, let me confirm the title here. So it is between pages 54 and 55, health insurance billing rate calculation.
Okay. So for 2027, overall, it was about a 7 to 8% increase in premiums. So we proposed a 3% increase to churches for that blended rate for 2027, which would be 23,274. Also would increase the premium credit for people receiving it so it would be 944 for employee only, 1,838 for employee plus one, and 2,527 for family plans.
Thank you. All right, is there a discussion? Are there any questions? I do see a question from Angela Rotherham. When did we start separating employee only?
It has been since I've been on the board that has been the case that there was 3 different billing or clergy or premium credit rates for the different people. I don't know how to better term for that. For the different categories, I guess.
All right, Angela says that's good. Are there other questions or discussion?
Something else is that we removed the credit if you do the automatic payment, because it actually costs us more to do automatic payments. So we have removed that.
Okay. Our next item, unless there's any other discussion, last call. Great. We're going to move to RS 103. That is found on page 54. And I will let Stephen present that.
So what was the title of that one? I'm sorry.
Sorry, past service funding rate.
So this is for pre-82 recipients, and so that is $820 per year of service, and the survivor benefit will be 85% of that.
Are there any questions or discussion about RS 103? Wow, talkative group today. All right, so let's take a look at, I'm gonna invite John to share a bit about the agenda rules changes. This isn't officially part of our work group necessarily, but this would kind of fall within the finance and administration umbrella. So this would be RS 200.
Yes, thank you, Izzy. And I've been the one sharing the screen. I just gonna be honest, I can't multitask. I'm not that good. So I'll just talk about it, and hopefully you can read it, or read it after I'm done talking about it. Um, the the rules change regarding the agenda is essentially just outlining the process that we have been talking about and preparing for the past few months, which includes the resolution work groups. So we're just changing the rules and the policies of the New England Annual Conference to allow for and to describe what the resolution work groups will do and how they will operate. And the reason they're not uh, technically part of the resolution work group, but we wanted to still present it here, is because those rules, since they are changed to the annual conference's rules and policies, they need to be voted on right at the beginning of annual conference for us to do it. If we didn't vote on the rule change right at the beginning of annual conference, we theoretically wouldn't be able to do resolution work groups Thursday night. So that's why it's not technically part of this resolution work group, but still we wanted to make sure that uh, since it's something coming before the annual conference, that everyone had a an opportunity to ask questions about it if there were any. I I see there are a couple of questions about other things coming up. I didn't know if we want to go backwards.
I'm also seeing a couple just order questions, so I'm going to try and resolve those really quickly as we go as well.
Okay. So while Izzy resolves those other things, I will stay live to see if there are any questions about the rules change for the agenda. Great. So we can perhaps expect that everyone is going to vote on it very quickly, and there aren't going to be any questions that morning, and we'll get that done very quickly. Looking forward to that.
Okay, I'm going to jump back in. We I realized how I did this. So we ended up slightly out of order. So death and disability is RS 108, and that is also included in the pensions and health. So I'm going to hand that back to Stephen, and then we'll move on to other things.
And I can answer the question too, about the automatic payments. And so the reason why we did that, or we removed that, is that it costs more. And so we're not, we still would prefer that people do automatic payments, but because it costs us money to do, we didn't feel like we should continue to offer that discount. So that's why we removed that. 26-108 is the billing rate for providing the death and disability benefits for the Clergy Protection Program, otherwise called CPP, and that would be 3% of total plan compensation. And the 2027 billing rate providing death and disability benefits to eligible clergy through Westpath's Life option shall be 1% of total plan compensation.
Okay, is there discussion on RS 108? I didn't give the page number for that one, but it is 55 again.
That did not change from this year.
Okay. I am. Okay, we do have a question, which we'll jump back to that in a moment to John for the question about work group from that we've received, but also from Cheryl on RS 107, looking for. Did that show up already? Sorry, the question just disappeared from. Okay, Stephen answered that. So that was a question about defining eligible clergy, and for the purposes of RS 107, Stephen clarified that the definition is in 106, in Resolution 106. Anything we want to add to that verbally, or are we good with the chat?
That is a change from last year, and that is in another working group that they will be discussing that would only be full-time clergy.
Okay, so there's a.
So there is a Google Doc that or a folder that I created for the late breaking addenda, I think is the plural of addendum. So I will include the link for that. These things will officially go out as the late breaking addenda. Uh, Actually, what is it addenda? That's the plural or addendum? Anyway, I will include the link for that. But do know that these things will become official and officially sent out, I believe, early next week. So you'll have them plenty of time before annual conference themselves. So I will do that in a second. I should. I'm not very techy, so this is all very difficult for me, but there you go. Okay.
Okay, so I see these. I'm not. John, are we able to say, are these like officially are these like official documents now, or are we waiting until they are officially published on the conference website before they're considered?
Yeah, so that people can see them, I created this Google document of the versions that I have, but I hesitate to call them official until our conference secretary, Reverend Kristen White, actually sends them out to you all. Again, that should be early next week. So don't worry that they're not official yet. They should not be that much different than what I am sharing them as. And Lee says that the plural of addendum is addenda. Thank you very much. Um,
I do see Kathleen shared a question with shared a question for a Q&A. Are both death and disability coverages mandatory? Does a church and pastor pay through?
You either get CPP or you get UM Life. You don't get both.
Okay,
And
so that is a question.
I don't remember
Sorry.
the coverage options off the top of my head. But the church would only be paying the max of one of those. I believe CPP is full time. I don't remember exactly where the cutoff is. That I'd have to look at the Westpath site to get that answer.
So in the interest of clarity and best using your time, are there other questions? I'm going to say this is for 105 through 105, 107, 108, 103 are the ones we have done so far. Are there any additional questions about those four? Just so I make sure we're doing them all together. Hearing none, We do have a couple of questions coming in about RS 200, which is the resolution work group's initiation, which again falls under the blanket of finance and administration, but isn't necessarily part of this work group. So I will go back to John for those questions.
Absolutely. So yeah, there are a couple of questions here. The first is general. How do the work groups work? Um, so again, when we get to annual conference Thursday night at 7 o'clock, we will be starting. I'm sure there will be some grace, so we're not gonna probably not gonna start right at 7 o'clock. But at 7 o'clock, each resolution work group will have their own rooms. We will explain all of this when we are there. The information is also in your pre-conference booklet or pre-conference journal, whatever word is more appropriate, and which room goes to which resolution work group. They will then uh, receive each report. Not all of the report submitters want to speak about the report. They just will hope that you've read it. But we do need to officially receive all of the reports. That is an opportunity for us to, to acknowledge, because they sometimes go unacknowledged, each report. The 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 I don't want to say more important, but the main focus of the resolution work groups is working on the resolutions themselves. So again, um, they are going to work just like uh, working on resolutions at plenary at annual conference normally has worked. So if you've been to annual conference before, you it's the same thing, except that we're dividing into four resolution work groups. And the reason is, as I said earlier, we're hoping that this can broaden the voices that participate, broaden the leadership of the annual conference. It's also going to provide an opportunity for us, hopefully, to streamline the process of working on each piece of legislation. Some years we're not able to get through each legislative resolution that comes before annual conference. This gives us an opportunity to streamline and hopefully get through everything quickly while still being thorough. And so what will happen is that resolutions that are voted on in the resolution work groups that receive 90% or more of the vote will go on a consent calendar. We will then vote on that consent calendar Friday morning, and only the things that don't get onto the consent calendar will then be taken up by the whole annual conference starting Friday afternoon of annual conference. To Angela's question of it seems like the group's work would be more complete if requests to remove an item from the consent calendar were handled before Thursday night. And her understanding is that they have until Friday. That is correct, that the process is they have until Friday. The reason is because there isn't a consent calendar until the resolution work groups have voted on everything. Uh, in previous years, the consent calendar has been created by the agenda committee. Uh, and among other things, I did not want that kind of authority. And so we're giving it out to the resolution work groups to have that authority. And so everything that goes onto the consent calendar is indeed those things that the vast majority of the annual conference can consent to or um, negatively, reject. So if a resolution gets 95% no, it will also go onto the consent calendar, but as a rejection rather than as an affirmation. And again, we're going to explain that very clearly at the pre-conference briefings at the annual conference itself. Um, so there is a very tight window for people to remove things from the consent calendar from Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. maybe until about 10:30 a.m. Friday. Um, but it is what it is. And if people really want to take things off the consent calendar, uh, I do think that'll be time enough. You know, we all know 9 other people. It'll only take 10 people to remove something from the consent calendar. So I think it'll still be doable. I think I just answered all of those questions.
Okay. We do
Uh,
have one more question for Stephen from Angela. Do half-time licensed local pastors get EUM Life?
If I'm reading the codes correctly, no, they do not. I don't think any, no, I don't think they do. Um, are there any, I, kind of above my, we can offer? I know that there's been issues with stuff like that in the past. Um, yes, Moo.
Okay, I think Stephen, you are right. I think that there's some confusion between the CPP and the UM Life. CPP, I think that full-time the everybody, including I think elders, deacons, local pastors. I think the associate members. Any full-time is I think the CPP. And the three-quarter time, CPP is, I think, associate members, full and provisional deacons and elders, provisional and full deacons and elders of another annual conference or the Methodist denominations. That's it. Then I think the halftime, UM Life is kind of optional. And that's, I think, as the Stephen just said, I think the half-time associate members, full and provisional deacons and elders, provisional and full deacons and elders of another annual conference or Methodist denomination, period. So I think, yeah, that's how it had. Yeah, so a little bit clear or the more confusing. So I'm sorry.
Yes, keep the questions coming if there's uncertainty. Um, we are. I know we're shifting back and forth a little bit here. We do have one more question that we've gotten asking who gets to vote in the resolution work groups, and I'm going to let John speak to that.
yeah, thank you. So I wanted to answer this live because I wanted to just first of all apologize for the perhaps confusion that was self-inflicted by me, because we have the pre-conference briefings and then we have the pre-conference meetings for these resolution work groups. The pre-conference briefings, the first one was last Wednesday, and the next and last one is next Thursday, the 28th at 6:30. Uh, I will have explained that. We'll also explain it at annual conference. But since the question came in, um, the anybody who is a voting member of annual conference, so if you are the lay member from your church or an equalization member, um, as a laity, or clergy, you are a voting member of annual conference. There might be other people who are voting members as well. It's not my job to determine that. But if you are a voting member of annual conference, you have the opportunity to register for your preferred resolution work group, and you will receive a pass, a color-coded pass, based on which work group it is, to then get into the appropriate work group room, and you will then be able to vote once you're in there. Uh, what happens when too many go to one work group? Unfortunately, we are bound by the physical limits of space and time. The hotel that we are at has rooms that hold 100 or up to 300. So one of the resolution work groups will have 300 passes assigned to it, and the other three will have 100 passes assigned to it because um, that's just how many people can fit in those rooms. And when the passes run out, unfortunately, if the passes have run out for the work group that you wanted, you will have to choose a different work group. And there are advantages and disadvantages to this process. We understand that. We were trying to address as many of the concerns as possible that we heard during the listening sessions that we held over the course of the winter about this process, whether or not we should even do it, and if we did it, how should it go? And most people seemed to prefer to be able to choose their resolution work group after uh, they registered online for annual conference. Because if we had asked you to sign up and register for your preferred work group online, the pre-conference journal wouldn't have been published yet. You wouldn't have had any idea uh, which resolutions and reports were in which work group. And so this does have disadvantages to it. I understand that you might get there and we might not have enough passes for your preferred work group, but we might not have had enough room anyway, right? Even if we had people register online, we might have had 500 people trying to register for one group, and even in that way, we might not have had enough. But we are, because we're doing the passes rather than a pre-online registration, there is going to be an opportunity to switch rooms once we've already gotten underway. Uh, I'm holding off on explaining that process exactly until we get to annual conference itself, because, or you can email me. Um, I can put my email in the chat so I can explain it to you that way. Um, but the reason I want to wait is because I want to make sure that everybody understands the process generally before I start getting into more complicated things. So hopefully I answered those questions.
So I have three more questions that have popped up about RS200. So first, if someone is presenting a resolution but wants to go to and signed up for a different work group, may they move to the resolution work group they signed up for after presenting?
Yes. Yes. So, register for the resolution work group that you want to participate in as a voting member. If you are presenting a resolution in a different work group than the one you want to register for and participate in, what you can do is just go to the work group that you're presenting at, tell there's going to be a moderator at the door to just make sure that people who enter are voting members, and they're also going to hold a section for non-voting members, anybody who is presenting or might be called upon to speak, to be ready and available. So you would just go, you would tell them, I am presenting on such and such resolution. They'll put you into the non-voting section. Once you are done, you can then go back to the resolution work group that you actually registered for with your pass, and then get in. Yeah, I see there are a lot of questions here, aren't there? I'll just take them one by one. Uh, so, will a signed petition by 10 eligible folks to remove a resolution from the consent calendar override the vote of the resolution work group? Yes, and partly because we envision that the uh, 10 people that will be signing that petition were not in the resolution work group. Because again, you can't be everywhere. Now, we're not going to be able to necessarily police that. There could just be 10 people in the resolution work group who are just unhappy, or they want to make the process as long and as complicated as possible for us. Who knows? But that's their right to do that. And we want to make sure as we go through this process that we are wholly conferencing, that we are giving everyone an opportunity to participate in the process of wholly conferencing. Might it be messy at times? Yeah. And we'll just hope that the spirit works the way the spirit needs to work. But yes, theoretically, 10 people can override. I think this next question is related from Cheryl. So in effect, resolutions can be put on the consent calendar on the say-so of 90 people. Again, yes. Um, just say that before the consent calendar was put together by, the agenda committee, and I think the agenda committee had 5 people on it. So this is far more democratic and transparent, and hoping to still be as thorough a process as possible. And we hope as well that each resolution work group is representative of the conference, so that those 90 people are representative of the 600 or so people, which then transitions into are there as many spaces as voting members? Yes. I believe that the voting member registration of annual conference is um, under 600. Please do not quote me on that, but I believe that we are safe. And if absolutely necessary, the Expo Center can hold more than 300 because it needs to for when we all gather together anyway. But we didn't want to print out more than 300 passes and then have, 500 people in in that one work group and 20 people in the others. If absolutely necessary, we can get more people into the big work group. Okay.
Okay. It looks like everything has been addressed in there, and I do. Julie did identify one more question, which is so we could have groups that are 100% clergy. That would be that is that if you can address that, John.
Yeah, it is a possibility. And as Lee just said, it's also possible we have 100% laity. We we are trusting in all of you. We are trusting in God as well, that the self-selection of these groups will will be representative. Um, but I will say, quite honestly and frankly, you can consider this as a confession if you want. We tried very hard to come up with a process in terms of leadership and otherwise that was as diverse as possible, but did not think maybe we could reserve some passes for laity for each work group. That is something, just to be honest, that we'll see how this year goes. Uh, but if it does become an issue, we will certainly, because trying to keep things as diverse as possible is important for us. So we will review that for next year. On that score, nobody asked this, but we are going to have each work group monitored the same way plenary is. So again, if you've been at annual conference before, you know that COSRO, the Committee on the Status and Role of Women, does monitor um, for gender and ethnicity of everybody who speaks, not just people who speak on resolutions, but including in worship and so forth. Each work group will also be monitored so that we can review whether or not they're as diverse as we hope them to be.
Okay. I'm looking. I'm watching. I see nothing new coming in at this time. Uh, so the So the other main item that is part of, again, falls under the finance and administration umbrella, but goes to the plenary is the budget. Um, I is there a representative of CFNA who is present now, or do we need to dragoon John into speaking again?
I had a quick chat conversation with uh, and I'm hoping that he could say at least a few words to give me a break about the budget resolution that is part of the late breaking documents, and I'll pull that up.
All right, you have the floor.
Well, hello everyone. So the budget, first of all, this has taken much longer time than usual to create the draft budget for the budget proposal for CFA. And for those of you who have attended Bishop's 5 regional gatherings about the financial state of the conference, will understand why this has taken this long. Because CFA wanted to draft a budget proposal that is as sustainable as possible and as transparent as possible. So if you go to the top, so overall apportioned to the mission share budget is $6.8 million. That's a 3.7% increase from 2026. This increase reflects the cost of living, the increases and other the new expenditures in areas. And if you look at, there are 3 columns: total budget, mission share budget, and other sources budget. This is the new information that CFA wanted to include. For the purpose of the conference, will know the total outflow and budget and impact, financial impact that we do within our connectional system. The previously mission share budget only shown the mission share related numbers, but there are other conference related funds and resources that are being used on an annual basis in a systematic and sustainable way, that outflows from the various connection point to the communities and churches. So mission share budget, a portion is $6.8 million. And then $150,000 is the 2025 mission share budget that would come in 2026 mission share, but income that will come in 2027. That's always the case. And then little over $1.5 million is our anticipation of non-collected portion of mission share budget. This assumes about 77% receipt, which is 2 to 3% increase from our average of 75% or less. So the total revenue we're expecting it from mission share budget is 5.447. And then if you look at the third one, we expect over $3 million from other sources. And CFA has accounted in such a way that this 5.4 mission share budget dollars will be the balanced budget. We are not anticipating deficits. This is through a different source, identifying different source, changing the accounting system, changing how we use the conference employee health benefits in ways that would save the conference money while still providing most necessary and fair health insurances. So this is for the first time we have a budget without anticipated deficit. For example, last year we had about $500,000 anticipated deficit. So if you scroll down, it explains all other categories. One thing to note that most of our conference committees, agencies that submits the budget request have received from CFA about our challenges, and they were invited to consider the average reduction of 20 to 25% compared to their 2025 or 2026 budget. As the sign of great faith and connection, almost all conference agencies and committees, other than those that had to have that had no room for reduction, have all come in with average reduction of 20%. So I just want to, and Treasurer and the CFA would like to express our deep gratitude for this connectional spirit that allowed us to make to this balanced budget proposal. So also you will see this year the presentation format will be a little different. This will be more transparent and show that where all the source of funding is. And this information will be available again as a late breaking material on the conference website, probably on Tuesday morning. And then this will be also more explained and shared during the second pre-conference briefing on Thursday night at 6:30 on May 28th. I'll stop right here.
Okay. I do want to do a quick time check here, just noting that it is 1:52. Factoring in that we don't have the budget in front of us for the we don't have the resolution in front of us at this time, and we will still have the pre-conference gathering as well as the plenary to discuss this. Are there any questions that folks would really need answered now?
So I just want to note, Izzy, I just want to note that we had a budget hearing on Saturday, May 2nd, and all the conference committees have put together their own request, and all but one commission, which also voluntarily reduced after the budget hearing, all but every commission and committee, their requested budget was approved by CFA for this budget proposal.
I do see a question from Sherry. Will the budget be discussed in work groups or plenary? John is probably in a better position to clarify exactly what we're doing with it.
Sure, I was planning on doing so as we wrapped up the conversation anyway, so I'm glad somebody asked. Yeah, to be absolutely clear, because Izzy said it is going to be voted upon, it has to be, by Book of Discipline, I believe, by the whole annual conference and not on a consent calendar. So the budget will be its own separate plenary vote. However, it will also be part of the resolution work group at annual conference. So the resolution work group can work on and amend the budget that comes before the plenary, and it can vote on those amendments to the budget, but it cannot, whatever the vote is, even if the resolution work group votes 100% to approve the budget, whether it's amended or not, it still needs to go to plenary. So both. The answer is both. And just to follow up with what we said as well, that the work, I also have uh, I've been pulling double duty this year. I'm also the vice chair of the CFA. I really appreciate we filling in for me though, so that I didn't have to be both things today. Um, but the work that Lonnie Chafin, our interim treasurer, and the conference staff have done to get clarity on the finances that we have on our accounting system, all of those things that we didn't actually have clarity on, believe it or not, until very recently. They have worked extremely, extremely hard. And I know it might be frustrating for people um, to have a budget coming out this late, um, but it took a long time to get clarity on everything, and it's not because the conference staff hasn't been working hard. It's just because when we got to COVID, and if you remember, one of our treasurers passed away after just I think a year on the job, and so a lot of things happened and the accounting got messed up, and it was nobody's fault, but it did, and so they've had to work very hard, and I hope that you will go and ask Lonnie questions at annual conference if you need to, but also give thanks. He's just like the bishop, serving two annual conferences, but he's been working overtime just for us. So give him some kudos if you see him at annual conference.
Okay. One additional question that has surfaced in the chat from Bob Hout is John or would you be willing to address that?
Yeah, so if you want to, the question is, even though conference agencies reduced their budgets by an average of 20%, and even though there will be over $3 million in revenue from alternative sources, the overall apportionments to local churches will go up.
So first of all, those over $3 million is not the additional sources to fund our mission share budget. These are the restricted funds and other regional funds that have been traditionally used regionally or according to the restrictions. For example, Together for Tomorrow, Hebrew 11, those have a specific areas, so which is separate from conference budget. So that's why the reason we identify this is to give the whole picture of our connectional impact that is having. The second one is conference has reduced between 2021 to 2025 budget, 2026 budget, I think 2022 to 2026 budget, about $1.8 million. So we have reduced to the local church mission shares about 15% compared to 2021 or 2022. And the reason why we have $6.8 million is just to maintain that basic sustain the basic programs and what we do. If you remember, during those 5 years, every cost has risen, and we have maintained either reduced or level. And this is the first time we put 3.7% increase just to reflect the living cost expenses. Another reason why the mission share portion budget is $6.8 million is because our mission share receipt is 75%. So even if it is $6.8 million apportioned, receipt would be less than $5.2 million. So that's why apportioned budget is here. And as you all know, we as a conference is working on this financially challenging situation to move to a more sustainable way to operate our connectional system. So our goal is, yes, to reduce this gap between our mission share receipt and the actual apportionment budget. But it will take over the next 3 to 5 years, because if we try to make this as a real, same as the mission share receipt budget, conference will not be able to do or exist in any way close to what we have been. But the bishop and the CFA and all conference leaders are now going to work together to make our financial planning and operation, and including mission shares, more sustainable for the local churches in the conference. And it will take some years, and it'll take our local churches committing to our mission share giving with a renewed spirit. It'll take the conference coming with more creative ways and sustainable ways to fund our conference ministries, in addition to mission share giving. So this is sort of like a transition time.
So we're going to do one more time check here, which is to acknowledge that it is now after 2 o'clock. We will continue. However, if, stick around as you are able, for sure. I think we're good to move on. We have 2 final items that I want to make sure we get to as we can. The first one I want to get to is RS 112. That is titled Unit Insurance Plan, and that is found on page 57 of the pre-conference booklet. Do we have a trustees representative here who can speak to this? Adam.
So as you see, it's listed here. There's nothing much different than what we've had before. So I can't really speak much to it, but it is what it is. And I want to just thank everybody who's been working very hard on this project and making this work and getting us the best deals we possibly can. There will be some late breaking information coming up soon. I don't have that to speak to right in front of me.
Okay. Are there questions or discussion on RS 112?
It's too long for me to scroll through the whole thing at a speed that you can actually read. So again, hopefully you've read it or you will read it.
Yes, and again, that's page 57 in the pre-conference booklet. Okay. I do, John, for clarification, I have one more item under my list, which is CFA rules change. Are you in position to address that?
Yes. Yes. It's part of the late breaking addendum document. It's along with a couple of other amendments. So please look into that. Again, I can't multitask, share screen, and talk about it. But I gave you access to the Google document in which those things are. It's part of that. The rule change essentially just asks, or I should say requires, that any legislation coming before the annual conference that has any financial implications whatsoever will require a input from the conference committee on finance and administration. That does not mean that the recommendation of the CFA needs to be taken by the annual conference, but it will require input, as it specifically asks that there be a funding source suggested for that resolution. So if there is a financial implication, either the submitter of the resolution or the CFA will need to say this money could come from X, Y, or Z, and the CFA will also then give a recommendation to approve or disapprove of that resolution. But again, it does not bind the conference to do what CFA says.
We have one additional question. I believe this is referring to RS 112 from Angela Rotherham, which is, why is it financially okay to offer credit for this but not health insurance for ACH? Is one of our CFA people able to speak to this? Yes, I see Adam.
I think that's more of a trustee's question because of how it took place. We get a discount from the group insurance policy if it's an ACH policy. So we're just passing on the discount to the congregation, unlike what John was talking about earlier with the health insurance stuff.
The health insurance, we don't get a discount. It's the same rate no matter what.
Okay. I believe that is it for the legislation that will be in front of us for Resolution Work Group 4. We will also have a couple of reports that come to us at annual conference, but I don't believe anyone asked to present anything today, as far as I am aware. With that in mind, John, do you have any other final notes?
Other than thanking you, Izzy, and praying, no. And I do encourage all of you, even though we can't see you, to do the Zoom grateful hands. What do we call it? Jazz hands. To give thanks to Izzy in particular for leading this process, which again is new for everybody. She has experience with what are called legislative sections from other conferences, but this is new for us, and this particularly is new also for Izzy. So lots of thanks to her. Thanks as well to we and to Stephen, as well as to Adam, for helping us with the presenting the resolutions, and to Ben, who's kind of been in the background, our director of communications, for making all of this tech stuff happen. We are done as far as the resolution work group pre-conference meetings are concerned. I'm gonna take a long nap, I can tell you that much. And if you've joined us for all four this week, maybe you need a nap as well. But I'll just pray over you, and then you can go do whatever you're gonna do Memorial Day weekend. So let's pray. Holy and Almighty God, we give you thanks for your Holy Spirit, which came down on Pentecost, and we celebrate and acknowledge and remember and participate in again tomorrow. But we give you thanks for the gifts that you have graced each of our leaders in this conference who have used and utilized those gifts today. We also ask that you continue to bless us with your Holy Spirit as we continue to learn as we go with this process, and hope that through our work as an annual conference, we do your will, not just for New England, not just for the United Methodist Church, but for all of your people anywhere and everywhere. And we pray this in the name and the power of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.